You are listening to the Disney Dream Girls, an unofficial Disney Theme Parks podcast, and this is show number 358 for Sunday, the 11th of April, 2021.
Where dreams begin.
Well, hello and welcome to this week's Disney Dream Girls. My name is Michelle Young, and together with my jolly good chum Jane Phibbs, we are your guides to the place where dreams begin. Hello there, Phibbsy.
Hello there, Michelle, and how are we on this mid-April, this lovely sunny day? Well, it is sunny where I am, I'm not quite sure about you.
We keep getting little flurries of snow.
Oh, don't you just love the British weather?
Love the British weather. It is amazing. Absolutely is. But we have got a whole host of lovely, warm, comforting Disney chat. It's just like, you know, when you sat on the sofa and you've got your PJs on, you've just been in a bath and you've got a blanket round you and a cup of hot Mickey cocoa with marshmallows and maybe whipped cream and a flake if you're going a bit OTT, and you're watching your favourite feel-good movie. Well, we hope the next 30 minutes or so will bring that effect to your ears.
Wow, that's a pretty high bar to live up to now, Michelle.
It is. Let's just press stop now and not bother.
No, we'll soldier on. We'll take one for the team. Carry on.
Well, that's a very good segue to our first piece of On This Day in Disney History, because it is about a soldier.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that.
I know.
Okay.
12th of April 1945, at the young age of 18, while serving in Europe during World War II, Robert Sherman was sadly injured.
Ah, yes.
Now, he had joined the army at the age of 17 with permission from his parents, and this injury forced him basically to use a cane for the rest of his life. For his service to his country, he received 2 battle stars, a Combat Infantryman badge, an American Campaign Medal, a World War II Victoria Medal, a European African Middle Eastern Campaign Medal, and a Good Conduct Medal. It didn't stop there, though. He went to recuperate from this injury in Taunton and Bournemouth over here in the UK, and whilst he was recovering, he was awarded the Purple Heart Medal.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know he'd been sent over to the UK to recover.
Yeah. And as he was recovering, he became very curious about the British culture, and he read anything he could find about the ways and wisdoms of us Brits. And once back on his feet, he met and became friends with many British people, attaining first-hand knowledge of the United Kingdom. And years later, he credited his time in England during his recuperation period to some of the sources he used in his songwriting career.
Yes, of course, you can see where that would all kind of seep in, wouldn't you, really? Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting one. Born 19th of December 1925 and sadly passed away 6th of March 2012.
Oh.
Have you got another for us, Janie?
Yeah, well, let's jump forward to 12th of April 1992. And that old park, Euro Disneyland, opened. Sorry, I have to laugh when I say that. It just doesn't sound right, does it? Euro Disneyland.
I know.
I don't think I ever visited while it was called that.
Well, you don't say, I'm going to America Disneyland. You
No.
know, yes, it's Hong Kong Disneyland. Like, yes, it's Shanghai Disneyland. But you don't say America Disneyland. It just it just grates on me.
It's a peculiar turn.
And the number of people that still say, oh, I'm going to Euro Disneyland, it's like, it's not called that anymore, it's Disneyland Paris.
Yes. Not that us Disney files get very possessive about what people call Disney parks or anything.
Of course not. You know.
Of course not.
No.
Yeah.
Disneyland Florida. Hey ho.
Oh, don't. Anyway, so yeah, 12th of April 92, it opened. They were expecting 500,000 visitors.
Wow.
And in the end, they got 50,000. Not
Wow.
50,000.
Big difference.
Yeah.
How would they have fit 500,000 visitors in Disneyland? They just couldn't. What were they
I'm
going
not
to do?
sure.
Stack them on top?
No, I don't know. I mean, 50,000 ain't too bad. Yeah, there was a lot of protests, though, because unfortunately, the whole putting Disney in France didn't actually go down very well with the French people. They were a little bit concerned that the perception of the French culture was going to be damaged by this big American company coming in with the size 10s. So there was quite a lot of protests that went on as and when it came to open, which is why the numbers were only as low as 50,000. Crikey, 50,000 is still a lot of people, isn't it? But yeah, there were power cables that got vandalised and road signs that were blacked out and things like that. So yeah, it wasn't a particularly audacious start to DLP. When it opened, though, it did actually open with its 5 hotels. So the Cheyenne, Santa Fe, Newport Bay, Hotel New York, as it was, soon to be the Marvel Hotel, and the Disneyland Hotel, and its campground, which is a few miles away, called David Crockett Ranch. So although we started off with just 50,000 on their first day, it only took a year to welcome their 10.5 millionth guest. Wow. So it didn't do too bad, did they? To in a year get 10.5 million people through the gates.
That's pretty good going, isn't it?
Yeah, not bad, considering it's been a bit, it has its ups and downs in history, does DLP, with the change of name and different backers and lack of investment in previous years gone by. So yeah, it's got its own history that goes with it. Be interesting to see where it goes to next, because as more and more development, more and more investment, hopefully, fingers crossed, gets put into it.
Yeah. And when you think about what was there on opening day, there's not been, apart from obviously the addition of the second park at Walt Disney Studios, there's not been a great deal of change, because if you have a look around all the different lands, for example, Adventureland still has pirates, it still has the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse, still got the Blue Lagoon restaurant, even though it's now been renamed around Captain Jack. So, it's still got the essence of lots of opening day attractions and eateries.
Yeah, I mean, I cast my mind back. I think we first visited, I want to say that, I'm trying to think, I've got to go by how old Ethan was. So just if you hear some strange noise, that's my brain trying to work out what year it would have been. So I reckon it would be 1999. The summer of 1999 was our first visit to DLP. And I look back, and actually it's very hard to think what has changed. Do you know what I mean? It feels very familiar. Whereas I know that going back to, say, Disney World, because it's been a while since I've been there, I know what to expect. I know there's been different changes. I know things are going to look different and new bits have opened. But yeah, DLP, you've never really had that sort of, let's go back because of X, Y, or Z,
Because Take for example the Magic Kingdom. It's 8 years since you've stepped in there, and for you will just be completely lost, because it's all been rerouted, different pathways, especially around Fantasyland. Whereas Disneyland Paris is sort of main structure has basically remained the same. Yeah, there's a couple of little bits here and there, and restaurant name changes, but a lot of it is very much the same, and it makes me quite chuckle when you think of some of the restaurants and things, and you think, do you know, I've been going to Disneyland Paris and I've still not seen that restaurant open. For example, Cowboy Cookout and Funto del Oro, never open.
Yeah, well, we've had many talks about Disneyland Paris and their restaurants, or the lack of opening on previous shows, haven't we? But I must admit, there's ones that I think Fuente del Oro particularly is one that we've struggled to see open whenever we've been. Don't know why, but just the way it goes.
Yeah, very strange. Right, let's move on, but we will be coming back to Disneyland Paris a bit later on in the show.
Cool.
So, 1st of April, something happened and we didn't mark it, Jane, and I think we need to mark it.
What, April Fool's Day?
Well, apart from April Fool's Day, because I think this year, there was just so much going on in the world, I just couldn't be doing with it. It was just like, do you know what? Nah, do one.
Yeah.
But Kevin Rafferty retired from the Disney company after a career of 42 years.
Well, I hope he got a gold clock for 42 years.
I hope he got something gold.
Anybody working for a company for that long needs something to commemorate the time by, don't they?
Yeah, but it's very familiar story here. Very similar to Tony Baxter's humble beginnings. He started out, did Kevin Rafferty, over at the Plaza Inn in Disneyland, just washing dishes. He'd always lived in the area close to the park, and he had a dream of being an animator, and he had an interview scheduled with someone, of all names, Donald Duckwall.
No.
For a post to be an in-between artist. But while he was sort of doing his work around, getting ready for the interview, he became intrigued by the possibilities of working for Wed Enterprises and got an interview with them. So he sort of sidelined the animation project and interview and that. He got the job and he began with early mentors, the likes of Claude Coates and Randy Bright, and went on to have a dazzling career. And I've got a little list of some of the things that he has been, responsible for or had a hand in creating. So there is the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach, It's Tough to Be a Bug, Test Track, Mickey's Full of Magic, Toy Story Midway Mania, Muppet Vision 3D, Cars Land, and the last big project was Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
So nothing major then, really, is there?
No. And I think he dabbled over in Tokyo Disneyland with the Pan-Galactic Pizza part as well. So he's not just been stationary in one place. He's been all over, USA, overseas, involved with many, many places. And to be honest, we could spend hours talking about him. If you want to delve a little bit more in depth, there's a fantastic blog post over on All Ears about him and about his life, and I'll link to it in this week's show notes on DisneyDreamGirls.com.
I just love these stories though, when we find out about these people and we take a little bit of time to know a little bit more about them. The number of people that have started off, like you say, washing pots or, being a server or whatever, and they've just, worked their way through the company. It's almost like a classic, rags to riches type story, isn't it? But I just love the fact that they felt so comfortable to stay with that company and been able to get their dream job, or maybe a job that they didn't even realise was their dream job, and attain that at the end of it all.
Yeah, and it just goes to show when you're starting out on your career path, and you think, oh, I don't want to be sweeping the floor, I don't want to be a janitor, I don't want to do this, it's not forever. That is your first step in your career path.
Definitely. And you don't know where it's going to lead. Just grab the opportunity and go with it.
Yeah. So here's to many, many, many happy retirement years. So let's move on, because we have got some more Disneyland Paris chat that we're going to have. We were talking a little bit off air about our trip to Disneyland Paris, where we went together a few years ago and had a few glorious days of sunshine and Disney, and so it was nice to experience the park on a girls' trip. But also, you've been with your family. I've been with Kieran. Literally a few years ago today, me and Kieran were in Disneyland Paris, so I'm getting all those pictures up on timeline to remind me of that, because Easter is a beautiful time to be in Paris. They do, so many wonderful things. My favourite was a few years ago was Swing into Spring, which was a bit of a mouthful to say. So I was thinking, well, what are our top fives of things we've enjoyed at Disneyland Paris and are looking forward to the most to be able to engage? And as Disneyland Paris is 30, I'm going to be mean and say we're not stepping into Walt Disney Studios. We're just going to keep it at DLP, the main park. So I was wondering what your first choice was going to be.
Well, I think the thing that with Disneyland Paris that kind of grabs everybody has to be the castle, because the castle is just it is the most beautiful castle of all castles. The structure of it, the landscaping around it, and the landscaping throughout the park as well. I have to say they kind of go hand in hand for me, because the castle itself it's the way it's been laid out with the little box trees. It looks like it's been lifted off a Mary Blair drawing as it is, and it's beautiful. And you've got the ability to walk inside it, and when you go up and you see all the architecture inside and the glass windows and the retelling of the story. It is beautifully done, and it becomes an attraction in itself. But then that landscaping kind of feeds out, I think, into the rest of the park. And I like the fact that when you walk around DLP, it doesn't feel as regimented as other parks. It feels a bit more meandery, a little bit more, you can discover little paths that not everybody's aware of, and you can make, like a little shortcut around to another area. And it's very lush with the landscaping, but then it still feeds into each area's theming as well as. And I think from, anybody that loves taking photos, it's kind of like a photographer's dream, because it just feels so well laid out and so beautiful to look at. Even the fact that, you can stand up by Phantom Manor and look over towards Big Thunder, and you've got the ride in the middle of the lake, and you've got the steamboats going round, and again you've got another little area up there that you're looking down from to get a different angle on the park. So I know I probably spoke about whole park in that one very long sentence, but it is that element of, I think it is such a beautiful park to be in. So yeah.
Do you know, you've picked the same one as me. I think the castle with the Galerie de la Belle au Bois Dormant and the Tanière de Dragon, I did a bit of French there, those are just beautiful little things that they didn't have to do. Walt Disney World doesn't have anything below the castle. Disneyland in California doesn't have the ability to go out on the veranda and overlook into Fantasyland. So for me, it's got so many elements that you can do. There's the customary gift shops that are in the base of the castle that you can go see. There's the dragon. There is the views, the beautiful stained glass window and tapestries. And as you say, wherever you are, you can always find an intriguing, exciting viewpoint of the castle. So yeah, it is beautiful, but let's be honest, France is known for its beautiful chateaus, and it had to be something pretty spectacular to compete with them.
I think that's it. I mean, I think you had to be very aware making a Disney park in France, where France is known for its chateaus, that if you're going to put a castle in there, you're going to have to make sure it's a blooming good one, because otherwise you're going to get torn to pieces over it. And hats off to them, they've done a darn good job on it. I think, am I right in thinking it's currently got renovations happening, ready for the next anniversary?
That is correct, yes.
Oh, drag that out, the old grey master. Well done, Jane.
Okay, well, I'm going to go to my next one since you stole my first one.
I get the feeling, Michelle, we could be doing this quite a lot. Go on.
I have a sneaky feeling it's going to be a very, very similar top 5.
Go on then.
Okay, I have chosen a dark ride, which is very similar to a dark ride I love in other theme parks, but the Disneyland Paris version is very different. I love Phantom Manor. It is an amazing attraction. It was opened on opening day. It's the same system of the Omnimover vehicles, but it's got a real story to it. And if you know the backstory, which we've gone through before, oodles of times on the podcast, so please feel free to go back and listen to that. It's the way it starts as something quite normal, and then you go down into the sort of deeper level, and you've got a real beautiful elements, and the story about Henry Ravenswood and how it links into Big Thunder Mountain and Big Thunder Mining Company, the creation of the area of Thunder Mesa, which is Frontierland as a whole. It just loves it, and how they got that sort of appearance. And I love the architecture, how it is so beautifully sort of gothic and sort of desolate, because the garden, everything's dying, and I just love it. And the fact that at the side there's the little graveyard, which unless you know, you don't know, and many people just don't bother going up there because they don't know it exists.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think it's that thing, Michelle, of the positioning of it on the hill, is quintessential, that haunted mansion vibe anyway, isn't it? But I love the queue area, because it's kind of, you're walking through the grounds, and it's a little bit different to, the traditional aspect that you'd maybe get at, say, Magic Kingdom. And it's got the little pergola type buildings, hasn't it? Little tea sets and stuff set out. And I do agree with you. I think most people will come out of the ride and they'll turn right to go back into Frontierland. And it's like, no, turn left. Just spend 10 minutes, or not even 10 minutes, and just walk around where the graveyard is. Because again, you get some fantastic views over towards Big Thunder from that area. But also, you get that little quirkiness of the jokes on the gravestones and all that type of thing. And it's just beautifully done. And it's a nice little little place to go, isn't it? If it is a really crowded day and you want a little bit of quieter time, then it's an ideal little place just to spend 10 minutes up there.
Yeah. Love it. I'm gathering that was on your list too.
It was, yeah.
Go on. I've got my fingers crossed. I think I know what your third choice is going to be. Go on.
Well, I'm actually going to deviate because I think that I know what you know is going to be yeah. That's really, yeah. If we've got this right, Michelle, crikey. And no, I'm going to go not slight detour, but I'm going to go on the same sort of principle as Dark Ride. But I'm going to go for the Disney Studios, which I know we said we wouldn't do. But can I just sneak in Ratatouille? Please, pretty please, because it is a good ride.
It can be an honourable mention, but it can't officially be the best attraction in Disneyland because it's not in Disneyland, it's in Walt Disney Studios.
Can it not?
No. I'm being mean.
Right, well, we'll have to leave that at the end then. Otherwise, I'm going to go for what I think you think I'm going to go for, which is Big Thunder Mountain.
How did I guess?
Because we've said, how many times have we said this on the show, Michelle? The Big Thunder Mountain is probably the best Big Thunder Mountain. Is it not? It's
Absolutely.
Just, it's so well done. That element of having it out on the island in the middle of the lake is just a stroke of genius as far as I'm concerned. Yes, the queue area and getting onto the ride is pretty much standard. It's kind of what you would expect, but just that sneaky bit of being plunged into darkness and then coming out the other side onto the island, and it does seem to whip around at quite a nice speed. Perhaps in comparison to others, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure what the statistics say, whether or not it is any quicker or whatever. I don't know. Perhaps it's just the way that the track's been laid out. But it's an exhilarating Big Thunder Mountain ride, and I think it is just done really well. The attention to detail, as you would expect from Disney, is there anyway. And I think it's taken the elements of Big Thunder Mountains elsewhere and just upped it 5 more points, hasn't it?
And you are right on that point. It is the fastest Big Thunder as well.
And Jane goes on it, look. You see? And
Jane goes on it. It's a shame it doesn't go up and down like an elevator attraction. Then we could get you on Tower of Terror.
Yeah, there's still time. The older I get, Michelle, the dafter I get. So you never know.
Fantastic stuff. And I love the fact that when you're on Big Thunder, you can get some fantastic shots of Phantom Manor. When you're at Phantom Manor, you can get likewise shots, or when you're on the riverboat. They're just two beautiful linked attractions that are just stunning for people who love to take photography.
Yeah, and like I said earlier on, I think this is where DLP does kind of shine, is that landscaping, that linking of areas, that meandering round type of thing, if you know what I mean. No,
I'm in agreement. Love it. It's on my list. Is it your turn again now?
No, it's your turn because I pinched it. Yeah.
Is it mine? Okay. All right. I'm going to go with one which I don't know if it'll be on your list, to be honest. I don't know. It's the Disneyland Railroad.
It's not, but carry on.
It was originally the Euro Disneyland Railroad, the EDRR.
Well, that's too much to say.
I know, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Opposed to now, it's the Disneyland Railroad, which is the DRR, for those people who like their acronyms. It's a 3-foot narrow gauge railroad, and I love it. I just love the fact you can just sit on and watch the world go by and just transport all the way around for the Grand Circle tour, and I love it. It's it's not the most thrilling of rides at 10 miles per hour, but it is a fantastic way of seeing the whole park. Queues for the railroad are ridiculous though. I remember last trip there, I was waiting at one point 50 minutes to get on.
Wow.
So you really have to be careful which station that you get onto, because some you've just got no chance, because people like to stay on and go the whole way round. Yes.
Well, it is a nice, relaxing thing to do. If you had a busy day and you've been on your feet all day, it is quite a nice one to just jump on, isn't it? And take a load off.
Yeah. 4 rolling stock operate on the steam locomotives. and it's the WF Cody, the CK Holiday, the G Washington, and Eureka. So, yeah, bit of railway chat for me. Enjoy that. Little bit of fun. Now over to Janie to see what hers is.
Well, I'm kind of keeping on with my little theme of landscaping and where else you can go. And I'm going to kind of say Adventure Isle and all that area. I suppose it's all around there where you can go. You can go for a little wander, and there's like a rope bridge, and there's like caves and all that sort of malarkey. It wasn't to be fair, it was not somewhere that I'd done an awful lot of up until our last trip, which was summer of 2019, and we kind of ended up going out there just kind of by chance, and it was like, well, I know what's that, and I'd done that classic thing that we're all guilty of with sometimes with the Disney park. Oh, I know what's over there. There's nothing much to do. We'll stick to the big attractions, and we'll stick to sort of thing. And I think it was because it was towards the latter days of our vacation. I think it was probably like day. I think we were out there for 5 days, and it was maybe day 4, probably our last full day in the park. So, and it was it was really nice weather, and we had a little wander, and it was like I discovered a whole new part of the park because I hadn't really given it the kudos that it deserved. And again, it's like saying when you come out of Phantom Manor, just turn left and experience the graveyard-esque part of Phantom Manor. There's this area around School Rock and going behind up to Spyglass Hill, I think it's called, that you can discover all these little paths and walkways and almost feel like you're getting lost, sort of thing, because there's so many little ways you can go and little turns you can take, and you get to see the river and the area around School Rock from a different angle, and you can still see the spires of the castle poking through all the greenery and the trees. And so it's another little sort of, it's not an attraction because it's just a walk through effectively, but it's kind of like another little hidden gem again that doesn't get the appreciation that it perhaps deserves. And probably most people would if you are only out in Disneyland Paris, you tend to be out there for a limited time period, and you're more concerned with getting on Big Thunder and Phantom Manor and Space Mountain, blah blah blah, and this perhaps goes unappreciated. So I would say if you've got an odd half an hour, you're not really sure what to do, just head over to School Rock, and you might be surprised at what you can find around there.
Can I add something in since you're in Adventure Isle? Something that you can do and get, which is a nice nod to the American theme parks, and that is to pop by and get a pineapple swirl.
Yes, we've done that, haven't we, Michelle?
Is it pineapple swirl? Is it pineapple whip? I think it's pineapple whip, is it?
Something like that. It's the closest you're going to get to a Dole Whip.
Yeah, it's not a Dole Whip, but it's similar. And it is a lovely, nice, refreshing drink that you can enjoy while you're wandering around Jane's top choice of Adventure Isle.
Yeah.
Right, my next one, which is going to be my 5th one, seems I've got the Castle, Phantom Manor, Big Thunder Mountain, Disneyland Railroad. I can't believe I've got to number 5 and I've not really technically mentioned food.
Well, to be fair, Michelle, it's a little bit tricky when it comes to DLP, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a little bit tricky, but there are little gems, there are little pockets of things that are just the most amazing things that if you're in the know, you will love this place. So I'm going to go with Walt's, an American restaurant, which, to be honest, even the title is misleading because it's not an American restaurant because the food served there is not American. But I love the fact that you can go in on the ground floor. The lobby has got so many little pictures or nods to Walt, his achievements, the story. It's just a wonderful place just to go in. And then you go upstairs and there are different themed rooms depending on where they seat you. So you could be in Fantasyland room, Adventureland room, Discoveryland room, the Disneyland Hotel room, the Grand Canyon room, or Frontierland room. And each time you go, you get a different experience, because every single element of these rooms are beautifully designed, from the ceilings all the way to the artwork, to the curtains, everything. It is just beautiful. It really, really is. And then the food. Oh my God, the food. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Like, I've eaten there twice and I have had some stunning food. It is a leisurely experience. Don't go in there thinking you'll be out in 45 minutes. Oh, no. You're looking at a 2-hour investment of time, because, French like to just go and kick back, have a bottle of wine, enjoy it, savour the food rather than scoff the food. But yeah, that is my number 5 pick. A restaurant of good quality food, fabulous interiors.
Does that mean I've still got one more to go?
You have, lovely.
Well, I'm gonna choose a little area, if I may, and only because I like to say this, Le Pays de Conte de Fées, because it's about the only French I can get away with, to be fair. So this is that little area, and because if you're going to go to Le Pays de Conte de Fées, I'll say it as many times as I want to. You can't stop me. Then you also have to go on Casey Jr. Le Petit Train du Cirque. See, I get French twice out of me. So it's just a bonus, people. But I just love that area. It's so cute and it's so silly. And to go on as grown adults is really silly as well, because it's not obviously meant for grown adults. It's meant for small children. and it's just so. I mean, Le Pays de Conte de Fées is your storybook canal boats, isn't it? Effectively, you've got these little vignettes of classic fairy tale stories set around this little boat that goes around a little stream. It ain't exciting. There's nothing jaw-dropping about it. It's just cute, and I like cute. And then you go on Casey Jr. and you sit in the circus train, and again you can have a bit of a giggle on there, as we have done, Michelle, have we not?
Oh, we have.
And I just remember the first time going on it. This is Jane with her lack of roller coaster loveness going on here. And I think I was on with Ethan. He can't have been very old. It might have even been going back to maybe second trip there. I don't know. And actually been getting quite surprised with just how it does kind of throw you around a little bit. I know it doesn't a lot. But when you're thinking, oh, it's just going to be a little gentle thing, and it does a little bunny hops and stuff, and it's like, oh, actually, this is a little bit more to this ride than first meets the eye. And I just think it's cute. It's a whole little area just at the back. And again, it's one of those little areas of Fantasyland. If you don't wander down that way and go underneath the railroad, you perhaps wouldn't even realise it was there. So, yeah, that's just Jane being silly and liking a little bit of daft.
And on your way for a bit of daft, you can go to the old mill and pick up a waffle.
True, yeah.
It always has to come back to food. I'm sorry, Jane. I'm sorry.
Well, yes, but, or a crepe maybe.
Ooh. I will have both, a crepe and a waffle. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our little bit of reminiscing about Disneyland Paris, a little bit of chat to prepare ourselves for the big 30th next year. Oh, my word. And we will be back next week, so don't forget to check us out over on our website, DisneyDreamGirls.com. We are on Instagram and Twitter at DisDreamGirls. If you want some more audio content from us, why not pop on over to our Patreon page, patreon.com/DisneyDreamGirls, where we've got a lot of extra bonus content just for you, ready to enjoy. So until next time, it's a goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.